Hello, everyone. I'm going to continue from where we left off yesterday. Let me just move this into a reading position. I'm not sure why it just resets itself. Although, wasn't there an alarm earlier? Whatever. My alarm's beeping shatters the early morning quiet, and I find myself wondering where to find the motivation to rise. Class is still quite far off, but I agreed to run with Emmy in the mornings. Really, I'm not that interested in running as a hobby, or even as a possible life-lengthening exercise. However, I feel obligated to follow through my promise to Emmy yesterday, which is why I find myself throwing on some running shorts and a light t-shirt. Well, I think the most important thing about exercise is starting it and then being consistent. Because let's say you have like an hour walk every day, right? Okay, let's you do that for a month, right? Well, not even a month. Let's say 2 weeks. You do that for 2 weeks, okay? Then what you can do when you get used to walking, when you don't walk that often, right? You could either increase the amount of time you're doing it. Like for example, you could add an extra hour, right? Or you can up the exercise. Like you could start jogging, you could start running, you could do all that stuff. But the most important thing, I think, is starting it, being consistent, and just, as time progresses, begin to move up on something, right? Because I'm going to be completely honest, walking is kind of a bitch exercise. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good to like move around and stuff, but it's not really enough, right? If you like like especially in modern days, if you want to stay in shape because of all the crap that is out there, right? If you want to stay in shape, you got to do something else other than walking. And yeah, and other than that, you have to be consistent with it. You have to be, you have to keep going at it. You have to keep trying to challenge yourself and your muscles only when you're comfortable, right? You wouldn't want to try doing 100 push-ups a day and then killing yourself as your muscles like as your muscles can't take it because they've never experienced push-ups before and then start breaking down. Like you don't want to do that, right? You want to take it slow but consistent and slowly build up is what I'm saying. I don't know if it's making any sense, but it makes sense to me. So, let's just continue. The cool morning air caresses my face as the morning sunshine causes the dew on the grass to sparkle, nearly blinding me at first. As I make my way down to the track, an ugly thought strikes me. What if this is some sort of joke that Emmy's playing on me? Would that surprise me, really? I mean, the girl was really interested in making sure you eat healthy and you go out and actually move your body so you don't fucking die. Hell, I'd probably do it to the new guy too. At the very least, I'm sure Emmy and Rin made a bet on whether or not I'd actually show up. I feel a sense of trepidation as a track comes into view. You're late. It would seem that Emmy is already here. What a relief. Not according to my watch. We both are early, in fact. Damn, you got me there. Emmy is sitting on the bleachers, decked out in her running gear, waiting somewhat patiently for me. I'm glad you're actually here. I was afraid that this was a joke or something. Nah, I'd never make someone get up early for nothing. Plus, Rin owes me 500 yen now. She didn't think you'd actually show up. I knew it. Nice to know Emmy was on my side at least. Emmy hops off the bleachers and begins stretching out. She's remarkably lithe, almost like a dancer. I set out to stretch as well, but then realized I don't exactly remember how to stretch properly. It's been ages since I stretched for anything, if you don't count my one stint at running last week. And even then, I don't think I actually stretched beforehand. The specter of my long hospital stay rises up again. I can't say I was all that active before the hospital stay. Though, so maybe I can't say I was all that active before the hospital stay, though. I feel like that's not grammatically correct. Sorry for being a grammar Nazi or whatever. Alright, so maybe I'm just being morose. Emmy giggles as she watches me stretch out. No, Hazao. You've got to hold it for longer than that. I'm trying. It kinda hurts a little. That's because you're out of shape. You gotta get some flexibility in you. Like this! To demonstrate, Emmy reaches down and puts her head through her legs. God bless you, Emmy. I see. Is that the sort of thing I should strive for? This piece is what all warriors strive for. I wonder what's for dinner. Okay, sorry. Of course, flexibility is important for any runner. You'll be able to go faster the more you stretch out. That makes no sense to me, but Emmy seems to believe it's true. With Emmy's help, I managed to stretch myself out properly. I can't help but notice that when she thinks about how to explain things to me, her mouth scrunches up in concentration. It's adorable. Not bad, Hazao. Come on, we better start running. We'll start off with just a mile, okay? That's 4 laps around the track, got it? Sounds fine to me. This shouldn't be too hard, right? Is Hazao gonna die? Imagine if that was an option, just like... I don't remember a kill yourself option, when I watched this game earlier. But considering the developers, it's entirely possible. A hazy memory of running a mile for gym class surfaces in my mind. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Emmy sets a pretty good pace, and I fall in behind her. Try to keep up, okay, Hazao? Roger. We round the first curve without incident, though I can already feel my heart rate increasing slightly. By the second curve, I've started to breathe through my mouth. I don't know if this is, like, good advice, but if at all possible, try to breathe through your nose for as long as possible. Because... Actually, I don't remember why. I need to look into that, I'm sorry. I'm not exactly a fitizen. I just know, like, the basics of exercise because I want to stay... I don't want to turn into a fucking orb of a man. Anyways. Emmy doesn't seem to be breaking a sweat. As if to punctuate her superiority, she turns around and starts running backwards. Are you doing okay, Hazao? Never better. Oh, really? Maybe I should speed up then. Oh, no. Wouldn't want you to overexert yourself. My heavy painting and wheezing makes the statement less convincing than I had hoped. Emmy simply smiles and turns around again. You're the boss, Hazao. We'll stay at this pace. I get the feeling that I'm being mocked. If I weren't in such terrible shape, I'd probably feel offended. By the third lap, my breath is coming in ragged gasps. I'm also awash in my own sweat. Gross. We round the curve to start our 4th lap, and Emmy looks back at me with a grin. Here we go. She takes off at a blinding speed, while I stubbornly stick to my slower pace. By the time I get to the first turn, she's already rounding the second. As I struggle across the back stretch, Emmy continues running and catches up to me. Come on, Azao, you can do it. I'd answer her, but I'm too focused on getting air into my lungs and ignoring the burning in my leg muscles. Part of me wants to say something like, maybe you can, but I'm about to die here. But again, I doubt I can actually form words right now. Emmy keeps pace with me as I round the second turn and cross the finish line. Her sprint seems to have gotten her sweating. Really, game? I mean, I get what you're going for, but... Hey, you know, I'm gonna skip this. Hazao. I feel a vague stab of guilt. But my legs and chest are burning so rapidly, I can't bring myself to care that much. Not bad for a first effort, Hazao. Kind of you to say so. Emmy seems to be, if not out of breath, at least breathing a little more heavy than she was before we started running. It must have been the sprint that did it. Hey, I've got to get a few sprints in. You should walk around the track to cool down. Then we could stretch out, and we'll be done, okay? Sounds great. My legs are on fire, and my breathing is still heavy. But surprisingly, my heart seems to be taking the strain well. Another triumph of medical science, I suppose. You should put your hands behind your head. It makes it easier to catch your breath. Does it? Whatever. Surprisingly, she's right, and I begin to stroll around the track, happy to feel my breath coming back to me. There's a blur as Emmy sprints by me. Watching her run is absolutely fascinating. It's not just because she's on prosthetics, though that is interesting. The really interesting thing is the way her face changes. I can only catch glimpses of it as she runs by, but her eyes seem to come alive with a sort of fierce joy. It's as if there's nothing else in the world but her and the track. By the time I've gotten to the final stretch, Emmy seems to have finished her sprinting. She's breathing heavily now, but she's wearing a satisfied grin on her face. She waves to me cheerily as I near her. Feeling better, right? Actually, yeah. Did you want to take another lap around with me? I've got to cool down too, you know. Part of me would rather sit down and not move, but something tells me that would be a bad idea. Besides, if I sit down, there may be no getting back up again. Sure, why not? Emmy's got her hands behind her back now as well, which makes her seem very relaxed. The positioning of her arms also pulls her shirt upwards ever so slightly, so that I can see a small strip of her belly. I do my best to act the gentleman. I forgot. Look, all I'm saying is that I forgot some things about this game. I do my best to act the gentleman and not look, but the contrast of her skin against her red running shorts is rather arresting. How do you feel, Hazao? Surprisingly good, actually. I'm sort of tired, but surprisingly good? As soon as I say it, I realize that it's true. Sure, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I've accomplished something. It's almost like a glow throughout my body that persists, despite the soreness. Yeah, that's the runner's high. Runner's high? Yeah, it has something to do with adrenaline? Emmy thinks for a moment as we walk, trying to remember. Then she shrugs and grins at me. I don't actually remember. It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Better than sex, right? I open my mouth to respond shortly before processing what she just said. Emmy washes my face for a few moments before bursting into laughter. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You're just too easy. Why did I agree to run with you again? Emmy just laughs harder. She takes a hold of my forearm and tilts it, allowing her to get a better view of my watch. Her face changes the moment she sees the time. Oh no, we better get a move on, Azao. Class is in an hour, and I need to shower. Oh no, I should probably do that as well. I need to see the nurse too. Maybe he'll write a note for being late. Why do you need to see the nurse? Emmy points to her prosthetics, as if that would explain everything. It's important to check for irritation. You know, from sweat or friction or anything. Normally I only go after practice, but if we're going to be doing these morning runs, then I guess I'll see him twice a day. Wait, so Emmy has only started doing these runs since I showed up? If it's more convenient for you to run with me at a later... If it's more convenient for you to run with me at a later time, don't be silly. I've been meaning to start running in the morning for a while now. But if I didn't have a partner to run with, I'd be less likely to keep up a routine. It's always harder to blow off a commitment if you're going to let someone else down, you know? So you'll be my running partner in the mornings. We both need the exercise, so it all works out, don't you think? Yeah, perfect. Did it have to be me, though? Well, I guess I can't complain too much. Emmy's pretty fun to hang out with. And she's right. I do need the exercise. Doctor's orders, even. Emmy waves a quick goodbye to me. Right, I'm off. Come have a lunch with us, okay? What? Lunch, you know, the meal in the middle of the day. Come have it with us. Where? The rooftop. Rin likes it up there. When? Lunchtime. When else? That was a silly question. Yeah, but I sort of felt the need to ask all three for completeness sake. Blah, 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 blah. Emmy laughs and grins. I don't think I've ever seen a girl smile so much before. Not bad, Azao. See ya. With that, she takes off, like a shot for the school building. I guess she's going to see the nurse first. I hurry up back to my room and hop in the shower, only to find that the water takes a while to heat up. Well, Hazao, this is the perfect time to start doing cold showers, even though... I don't know, what are the health benefits of cold showers? Like, I've heard they do have health benefits, I just don't remember what. I don't know, maybe I should start taking cold showers. Alright. The shock of cold water nearly kills me. I managed to warm the water a bit and spend some quality time feeling my muscles loosen. My heart surprisingly feels the least bothered by the run. I suppose that's a good thing, even if it does make me feel like a bit of a wuss. I mean, at least I'd have an excuse beyond, I'm out of shape if my heart were bothering me. I guess I'll have to keep this running thing up. Otherwise, I'm sure Emmy won't let me hear the end of it. It's only after I get out and dry myself that I realize that I've only 10 minutes left to put clothes on and get to class. Crap. The hands on the clock finally set me free from the tedium of yet another fun-filled class. Getting up from my seat proves to be more of a problem than I anticipated. My legs are killing me from the morning's run. Well, yeah, if you, like, start doing something, and then, you know, if you start doing something, it's gonna be sore in the first day, but just keep at it. I remember when I started doing squats, every day. So I did, like, 25 squats, and, like, my legs were killing me for a few days. But, you know, again, with the exercise thing, I've just been, you know, slowly, you know, increasing the amount of squats I do, and, you know, that stuff. Yeah. And of course, whenever I take a break or anything like that, it's like, oh no, let's go back to... let's say if there's like a long stretch, like for example, let's say I'm stuck at work for multiple weeks, and you know, I'm like doing something, and can't really, like, you know, focus on exercise that much. Then what happens is that like some muscles might atrophy or something. Like I'm saying this as a anyways. Point is like yeah, I could like if you take a break from exercising and then like come back like let's say a couple weeks or even a month later to do it again to do where you were at. Well, there's also a possibility of them becoming sore again because you know like you have not been keeping up with the exercises. So yeah, it's like consistency is an important part of exercise. But I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, yeah, I've yeah, with it being summer, uh, I have off work because I work for a school, and well, not a school, more like the school district. I don't really operate. I don't really like talk to students that much, but like I'm off for the summer, and basically, basically. So like when we're off for the summer, since I'm not that high of an employee, I also have a break. So basically what I've been doing is I've been doing a lot more exercises than I have been before because I don't have to deal with you know the school times and stuff like that. Which is also why I'm doing this playthrough. So I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this out. Maybe I won't. But you know, whatever. My legs are killing me from the morning's run. Maybe doing these with Emmy isn't such a hot idea after all. Still, the run's giving me a hell of an appetite. I'm halfway down the hallway to the cafeteria when I remember that I've got my lunch with me. My parents saw fit to provide me with some prepackaged stuff when I moved in. And a good thing, too. The hallway is packed with students headed for the cafeteria. Going back is like swimming upstream, but I've got an appointment to keep on the rooftop. It takes me a moment to find the staircase leading up to the rooftop, but I'm willing to bet that Emmy and Rin aren't up there by now anyway. In fact, I think I saw Emmy among the bodies in the hallway headed for the cafeteria. I step out of the door to the roof and take a deep breath. The fresh air blowing against my face and body almost make my legs hurt less. Maybe if I'm upside down. Part of me wants to be surprised that Rin's already up here. What's that going to accomplish? Things in the clouds. Couldn't you just look at them right side up? Rin rolls her eyes in something approaching exasperation. Then I wouldn't get a new perspective. Is upside down really a new perspective? Haha, that caught her off guard. Rin looks pensive. You may have a point. Maybe sideways? As Rin lays down on the bench to look at the sky, I give up. Fortunately, Emmy chooses that moment to burst through the door carrying 2 bags. She nearly takes the door off the hinges. Sorry it took me so long. There were like a ton of people in line. She drops the first bag in front of Rin and takes a seat on the bench next to her. You buy Rin's lunch for her? Sometimes, yeah. I'd have Rin buy my lunch for me in return, but I'm not sure how she'd carry it. Plus, I'd never buy her lunch. If Rin's offended by Emmy's comment, she doesn't show it. Emmy sniffs. How ungrateful of you. I'm not sure whether the two are joking with one another, or if I'm witnessing the beginnings of a catfight. Did I mention that this game was released in 2012? Alright, the 2 girls stare at one another for a few tense moments before breaking into smiles. Hey, Emmy, do you think being upside down is a new perspective on things? Didn't I already have this conversation? Emmy looks thoughtful, apparently giving the question some thought. After a deep and profound pause, she speaks. I have no idea. Well, at least she's as lost as I am. Hey, Izao, you're coming to the track meet, right? The question comes out of the blue and catches me off guard. I don't know yet? Honestly, Hazao, after I went through all the trouble of letting you run with me in the morning, you won't even show up at my track meet? Okay, fine, I'll go. Wasn't she the one that asked me to run with her? Actually, she didn't give me a choice in the matter. Wait, no, I didn't say that. She beams at me as if I just agreed to give her $1 million. So you will come after all, that's great. I didn't say that either. I'll be going to... So I'll make sure he comes in me. Good idea, Rin. Maybe we can get some food or something after the meet's over. I feel like I've just been conned. But not by these two. More like by some outside force pushing me irrevocably toward my destiny. Well, it's either me for starting this route, or the writers of this game, or... I don't know. I mean, I did push Zao down this route. Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Like, it was either Emmy or a different girl's route that I wanted to start with. Like, I had two options that I wanted to start with very much. And, yeah. Basically, I'll do other routes later. But, like, we are extensively on the Emmy route, so... Wonderful. Anyways. More like by some outside force, pushing me irrevocably toward my destiny. Or maybe I shouldn't read books that feature conspiracy theories so heavily. Otherwise, I might wind up sounding like Kenji. Look, considering recent events, especially regarding some files, conspiracy theories are more like conspiracy fact. like it takes about like a decade or like half a decade for them to become true. So like, I mean, I do agree Kenji is kind of a nut job, but he's like, keep in mind that Kenji is correct in a lot of his assessments, just not in the way he thinks. Anyway, still, I suppose that I've got to show up now. I don't think that I could stand against both of them being disappointed. I'd never hear the end of it. When is it again? Next week, silly. I just told you a few days ago. No, you didn't. I forgot? Well, you won't forget to come, though, will you? Of course I won't. I'll even make a note on a calendar or something. Rin nods sagely. That's probably a good idea, you know. Unless time changes its course. It can do that? Rin gives a non-committal shrug. It hasn't yet. But you never know. This time it's Emmy who gives a shrug. I suppose it can't be helped if it happens. Not unless you're a time traveler or something. You don't actually think it could happen, do you? I don't think we do we? Rin shrugs again. That seems to be her default response to everything. I suppose not. But I reserve the right to change my opinion at a moment's notice. For Rin, the statement makes a disturbing amount of sense. The fact that I realize this now frightens me a bit. I wonder if Emmy gets this feeling all the time. If she does, she's not showing it. Emmy merely nods. As expected. What's that supposed to mean? This time, it's Emmy who shrugs. It's like she's using Rin's own weapons against her. Your response is the sort of thing I'd expect from you, that's all. Am I really that predictable? Emmy's smile begins to border on gloating. Nah, it's just that your unpredictability is pretty predictable. Well, that's alright then. I don't get the chance to see whether Rin's being serious or not as the bell rings. I didn't notice the lunch period slipping by at all. Hanging out with these two was far too interesting. Emmy jumps up, a look of panic on her face. Oh no, I need to stop by my room to pick up my notebook for the next class. Don't you wish you had a time machine now? Okay, Rin. Rin seems rather smug as she delivers this line. Like she just won an argument. Emmy ignores Rin's comment. Sorry, Hizao, but could you make sure our garbage gets thrown away? I usually clean up myself, but I've got to run. Sure, no problem. Emmy darts away with an urgency I'm starting to expect from her. I don't bother asking Rin why she couldn't help. She already seems to be preoccupied with something else entirely as she wanders off. She's probably used to Emmy taking care of cleanup, and for some reason I doubt Emmy's ever raised the issue with her. Cleaning up from lunch doesn't take long, so I have plenty of time to toss our garbage and get to class. Misha greets me with a wave and a devious grin as I walk through the door. Didn't see you in the cafeteria, Hee-chan. Yeah, I decided it was too crowded there. Misha's grin gets even wider. Oh really? Are you sure you weren't participating in an illicit rendezvous? What are you talking about? You were on the roof, right? With both Rin and Emmy, no less. You Casanova, you. You know, I never got the idea that, like, oh yeah, you just hang out with a woman and suddenly you're, like, in a relationship with them. It's like, why do other people, like, think that? It's fucking stupid. You know? Honestly, I just overthink things, I'm sorry. We just had lunch, that's all. Misha bursts into laughter, drawing the attention of several of my classmates. Oh, you're so adorable when you blush like that, Hee-chan. She gives me a conspiratorial wink. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. There's no secret. Oh? Misha seems disappointed, and then brightens up again. Time will tell. I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but blessedly, our teacher comes in and the class starts. Another day of class has finally dragged itself to a close. Unexpectedly, I managed to stay awake for the whole day. I'm pretty sure that counts as a miracle. My legs seem unwilling to stand up for a moment. I guess the run took a lot out of me. I head down the hallway and make my way to my room. I sit down and half-heartedly chip away at my homework for a while, feeling like a vulture picking at a particularly unsavory carcass. It knows this is what it eats, but it's not sure that it shouldn't be ordering takeout instead. I don't think I could take this, but it's important to get my work done. Now, let's see, what was I supposed to be looking over again? I know it's a losing battle, but I fight it anyway. Halfway through my math homework, I put my pencil down. This isn't working, I need a distraction. Unfortunately, my options for distractions are rather slim. I'm not in the mood to read right now. Kenji is unusually out of his room at the moment. If I go to the student council room, I'll just end up doing work for those two. And heaven knows where everyone else is except for... Well, I suppose that's an option. I grab my shoes and head for the track. Emmy's probably down there. Track practice is just ending as I arrive at the track. The sun's beginning to dip low in the sky. Has it gotten that late already? What are you doing down here, Zhao? Come to spy on me, have you? I give a shrug. To be honest, I'm not sure why I'm down here. I didn't have anything better to do. I figure that's about right. At the moment, Emmy's the only person I can think of who I could visit. So I'm your last resort, am I? Nobody cool around, so I'll just go see Emmy. Is that what you thought? She actually looks angry. A chance for some teasing of my own presents itself. Actually, yeah, I guess you are. Emmy pouts, widening her eyes to give the maximum amount of puppy dog resemblance. Kidding, I was kidding. So you're down here to stalk me? Wait, what? That's not what I meant. Why would I stalk you anyway? It's not like you require stalking. If you're not asleep or in class, you're down here, right? Emmy laughs at this comment. Well, you're not all wrong, I suppose. But you forgot about eating. I do that too, you know. I nod, conceding the point. Plus, I hang out with Rin sometimes too. So really, I might take some effort to stalk. What would you two do together anyway? You don't seem to have a lot in common. She puts her hands on her hips and assumes a superior air. That's what you think. I've got all sorts of hidden hobbies, you know? Oh really? Like what? Emmy puts her head to one side as if she's trying to remember what it is she does in her free time. Well, Rim and I go out shopping sometimes. I guess that makes sense. Emmy's a girl after all, but Rin? Rin comes with you. We usually swing by the art supply store. Plus, she likes this music store that sells all kinds of weird sounding stuff. She says it helps focus her. That makes a little more sense. I see. Any other hidden hobbies? Emmy wags her finger at me. Now, why would I go and reveal all my dark secrets to you? We hardly know one another. Somehow, I think that's all Emmy has in the way of hobbies. Still, I don't think my question's been answered. Even if you do have a few hobbies, I still don't see why you hang out with Rin so much. I mean, she's kind of weird, isn't she? This comment causes Emmy to laugh loudly. That's the understatement of the year. So why? I mean, you're a lot better at conversation and stuff. I'd figure you hang out with a lot of people. But I think I've only seen you with Rin. Okay, this is where it goes like, what? Nah, I'm joking. Actually, is it? I don't know, I might be misremembering things, I'm sorry. Emmy seems unusually defensive. Hey, I hang out with plenty of people that aren't Rin. You just don't see me doing it, because I'm not in your classes. Okay, but that still doesn't explain why you hang out with Rin. I'm not even sure why I want to know this. I guess it was because lunch was so strange. Emmy shrugs, looking for a moment very Rin-ish. It's because we have similar outlooks. If you were to ask me the least likely answer to my question, that would be it. What do you mean? It's like... Okay, Rin paints and stuff, right? Yes. I'm not sure where this is going. Well, I run. And? And that's why we're similar. You lost me. Emmy frowns, as if trying to figure out her answer. Well, maybe it's that we do things for the same reasons. Huh? You know, we follow our passions. So you're passionate about running, and Rin's passionate about art. Is that it? Well, sort of. Let me think. Well, Rin explained it to me once, but I don't know how much of it I followed. Not surprising. I think any explanation with Rin would probably confuse people. She says we both chase after an extreme. Like she's always trying to find a new way to show a particular feeling or something. And I run because of the feeling I get from it. And since we don't allow ourselves to be slowed down by anything, we make a connection based on that. What do you mean, slowed down by anything? Rin looks surprised and points to her legs. You know, because I'm a runner and Rin's a painter even without arms. So we respect each other's determination. And that's why we hang out. I think. Well, I'm not sure that made any sense to me. But from Emmy's sheepish expression, she's not sure about it either. Honestly, it's not something I think about much. We just get along. I think that's all that really matters. I suppose she's got a point there. Another question strikes me, and since I've got nothing better to do, I ask it. So what got you into running anyway? Well, I've been running since I was really little. My dad was a runner, and so as soon as I can walk, he started teaching me how to run. It was our father-daughter thing, you know? Our own mutual hobby. A shadow crosses her face, and I'm shocked to see her looking sad. Did something happen between them? Man, I don't have a lot of time left. Sorry, but I've got to get a few laps in before I go see the nurse. She races off around the track, hair streaming in the wind. It seems to me like she's going a lot faster than she was this morning. As she rounds the track, I catch a glimpse of her face. It's much the same as it was this morning, but her eyes seem to have taken on a much harder edge. I guess she's right. I really don't know much about her. I watch her run for a little while, and then stand up to head back to my room. Hey! She spots me leaving, and waves to catch my attention. Don't forget, same time tomorrow morning, got it? Got it. I head back to my room. Homework beckons. I can't sleep. My body's tired, but my mind is kept awake, staring at the ceiling in the hollow darkness of my room. I grasp desperately for a thread of thought, hoping that I can run my brain into the ground. Okay, so for insomnia, there's actually a few things you could do. First off, phones and stuff, right? Make sure you don't have any phones or devices on or anything like that, because like the blue light will make sure your brain stays awake. So make sure, like, to not have those things on at the very least 30 minutes before bed. Right? Do not interact with any sorts of technology because that will keep you awake. Another thing is again, if you're just lying awake, just like staring at the ceiling, that probably means you have excess energy. So one thing you can do is you could perform some exercises. You could like for example, Hizao here can go outside and walk around, possibly even run. But there's also some like quote unquote stationary exercises, like you could just stay in a corner of your room and just do jumping jacks or something. There's a bunch of things you can do. Anyway, all I can think of is how I can't think of anything. This is not productive at all. I wonder if this is a side effect of my medication, though it seems odd for it to take so long to show up. Then again, maybe I'm just not as used to my surroundings as I like to think. Yeah, it did say one of the side effects was... Did it say... I think I remember insomnia being one of the side effects that I saw in the prologue. Like when it had all those words of side effects just like melding together. I don't know, but for what I don't know, but for whatever reason, I'm awake and I shouldn't be. This is ridiculous. Ignoring my body's stiffness, I get out of bed and look at my clock. 4 in the morning. Last I checked, it was only 1. So maybe I slept a little? I don't know. I throw on some clothes and head out of my room. A walk might do me some good. I'm surprised at how chill the air is compared to the relative warmth of the day. I can almost see my breath as I wander the campus, waiting for the sun to come up or for me to fall asleep. At this point, either option works for me. I find myself at the track, where for the first time, Emmy's not out running. I suppose that makes sense. I'm too early, even for her. The bleacher seats are cold. But at this point, I welcome the sensation. The sun is starting to show its face over the horizon, and I know with an awful certainty that I'll get no more sleep tonight. The sun's steadily strengthening rays start to warm me up, and I catch the dew on the ground begin to steam slightly. My mind calms down a little. Someone's shaking me. Hey, wake up! What? I guess I fell asleep after all. What are you doing out here? You're gonna catch a cold or something. I rub my eyes and am confronted by Emmy, who bends over me with a worried expression. I'm still a little groggy, so my response comes out in a mumble. Couldn't sleep, watched the sun come up. It sounds like something Rin would say. I shrug, feeling the stiffness that comes with sleeping on a bench for a few hours. Is it? I wouldn't know. Emmy grins a little at my somewhat cranky response. So couldn't sleep, eh? Obviously, we need to run you harder today. Even though I've only known her for about a week, this seems like a very Emmy-ish response to the problem. Hey, my body was plenty exhausted after yesterday. My mind was just racing, that's all. I don't see the difference. If you run hard enough, your brain will get tired too. I'm seriously questioning the wisdom of doing this first thing in the morning. I don't know if my grades will be able to handle me tiring my brain out like that. Emmy pulls me up from the bleachers with a surprising strength for someone her size. Now come on, Azao, we've got work to do. I don't actually know if I'm up to this today, to be honest. I mean, I obviously didn't get that much sleep, and the sleep I got was on the bleachers. I don't know, should I really be running? Emmy glares at me. Good heavens. What are you talking about? Of course you should be running. How else do you expect to work out the kinks? You've been sleeping on the bleachers for heaven's sake. The best way to get that soreness out is to run around a little. Now stop hiding in the bleachers and get down here. There's no arguing that. I'm pretty sure she'd kill me if I didn't do as she said. I get to my feet and hop down to the track. The sun is warming things up rather nicely, I think. Emmy and I begin to stretch out, and I find myself once again hard-pressed to not stare. If this is how I have to wake up every day, I might be able to get used to this. You know, Hazao, it's not polite to stare. I wasn't staring, I swear. Emmy raises an eyebrow and considers me for a minute, as if evaluating my response. There's a brief moment where I'm afraid for my life. But then she smiles and laughs, shaking her head slowly. Honestly, you didn't have to deny it so strenuously. In response, I clap my hands together and go for a change of subject. So that's enough stretching, right? Emmy gives a casual shrug. Do you feel stretched? That's really how you tell. Well, I do feel up for the run. If that's what she means. Yeah, I feel ready to go. Same as yesterday, okay? We'll just run for a mile at a steady pace. Don't worry about going really fast. Just worry about keeping the pace, got it? You're the boss. Emmy grins again, and we take off around the track. I think I'm going to die. We're not even done with the first lap and my legs are on fire. My breath is coming in ragged gasps. I can feel the sweat pouring down my brow, and we've only just now rounded the second turn. Come on, Hazao, you got 3 more laps to go. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I think I might hurl. Somehow, we're on the second lap, and he's not even sweating. How could you do this so effortlessly? For some reason, I'm still moving. She's like a machine. Third lap, what happened to the second? Almost there, Zhao. Liar. We've got another 2. Nothing to be done. I can't do this. Emmy whirls around and begins running backwards. Her face is a mask of anger that surprises me. Never say that. If you do that, you'll have already lost. Keep moving. If you're alive, you can keep moving, damn it. Whoa, language. We're on the 4th lap now. She really seems to want me to keep going. Legs, move. 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 They feel so sluggish. I'm in mud or molasses or tar. I can't go on. I'll go on. Final stretches out. Give it all you got. I pump my legs as fast as they'll go. They keep refusing to obey my commands. Somehow, I keep moving. Somehow, I finish. That's it, Hizao. I knew you had it in you. The anger Emmy showed a lap ago is gone, replaced with pride. She's positively radiant. Like she just won the gold medal or something. I stagger to a stop, to fall on my hands and knees, gasping for air. My heart is pounding far harder than it has in a long time. I don't think it's done this since... Oh god. Please slow down, heart. Just slow down. Stop racing. I cough, and for some reason, feel a grin crossing my face. So this is how I die, huh? Trying to stay healthy? How ironic. I'm all ready to give up right there. But then I feel my heart slow down. 2 hands grab under my arms and tug upwards. I look up and see Emmy standing over me, with a mixture of delight and worry. On your feet. Come on, you'll never catch your breath that way. Somehow I manage to stand. I try to raise my arms above my head, but they feel like lead. I start to walk around the track while Emmy keeps close to me, like she's afraid I'll fall over or something. She may not be far off. I feel terrible and say so. Emmy laughs. But you finished, didn't you? You said you couldn't, but you did. Isn't that worth it? I'm not sure, and I don't really have the breath to say so. But that small grin I felt on my face earlier hasn't left. So what if my heart's weak? I still survived this morning. Maybe I'll survive tomorrow too. As soon as it becomes apparent that I'm not going to suddenly keel over, Emmy takes off on her own sprints. I don't know how the hell she can manage to sprint after running a mile, but I guess she's in much better shape than me. Once again, as I walk around the track, I can't help watching Emmy sprint. It's weird, but she's like a different person when she's pushing herself. Last time I noticed her eyes, but this time it's her mouth that catches my attention. She's not wearing her normal grin. She's still smiling, but there's a tightness to it. It's almost grim, like she's fighting a losing battle but doesn't care. She seems to be running harder, like she did yesterday. Sweat has started to pour down her face, but she keeps going. Her mouth fully opens as she can no longer get enough air through her nose. As she passes me once more, legs pumping, arms swinging in time, and her lips slightly parted. She looks beautiful. After we've both taken some laps around the track to cool down, Emmy changes back to her usual self. The transformation I saw in her is gone. Not bad today, Azal. There's almost admiration in her voice. What do you mean? I would have stopped if you hadn't yelled at me. Emmy colors a little, seemingly embarrassed about her outburst. Sorry about that, I just can't stand to see people give up. Especially about something like this. Saying, I can't go on is silly. Saying, I can't go on is silly when you're obviously going on while you're saying it. That's what this is all about. What? Saying silly things? Emmy sticks her tongue out at me. Idiot, I mean showing that you're alive. Showing I'm alive, huh? I didn't know it had to be painful. But it does feel pretty good, despite that. Besides, this is one of the hardest days. What do you mean? Whenever you start a workout, it's difficult the first day, really hard the second day, and then the third day is easier. You'll still get days that are really hard, but they'll pop up less and less. So this will eventually get easy, huh? Yeah, of course. But then you have to increase the difficulty or you'll never get ahead. Yeah, exactly. You'll just get complacent or you'll lose a sense of accomplishment. So I'll have to run more than just 4 laps, huh? Yep. But not for a while. You'll have to be careful, you know? A thought strikes Emmy, and her face lights up. Got it. Got what? You can come with me to see the nurse. That way you won't fall over dead or anything. How charming. When? Right now, of course. You'll need to shower and everything, right? We don't have much time then. Grabbing my hand, she's off, pulling me along with her. My goodness, you're in a hurry today, aren't you, Emmy? I have no idea how we got to the nurse's office so fast, but here we are. The nurse grins at Emmy and seems completely ignore me. You got plenty of time to take a shower and get to class, you know. There's no need to run through the hallways like that. I can hear you coming a mile away. Somehow it doesn't seem like he's actually scolding Emmy at all. It's like this is a sort of routine between the two of them. Emmy does a passable imitation of remorse. I'm sorry, I won't ever do it again. The nurse and Emmy both laugh at some private joke. Suddenly, it seems that he notices me. Ah, hello, Izao. What brings you here? Well, Izao has officially joined me on my morning runs. I start to explain, but Emmy cuts me off. I thought he might need to visit you so that he doesn't die or anything. The nurse raises his eyebrows in mock horror. Yes, that would certainly put me out of a job fast, wouldn't it? Well then, Izao, let's have a look at you. Lift up your shirt, would you? I suddenly feel very conscious of the fact that Emmy's in the room with me, and blush in spite of myself. I mean, it's not like you're taking off your pants or anything, you're just taking off your shirt. The nurse seems to sense my discomfort, but it only seems to amuse him. A bit shy, are we? He makes an apologetic bow to Emmy. Sorry, Emmy. I tried to get you a free show, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Emmy stiffens slightly and fires a look of annoyance at him. You're an asshole. Emmy bows to me apologetically. I'll wait outside, okay, Izao? I begin to stammer. I begin to stammer that it's not really a big deal. She doesn't have to leave, but she's already out the door, and the nurse is laughing as he watches her go. Still got it, ha. I don't follow. He laughs again, like he's on some joke that's over my head. I can still get her flustered. It's a competition of sorts that we've had going for a while now. That sounds incredibly sinister to me, and it seems as if the nurse realizes that too. That sounded a lot worse than it actually is, come to think of it. I wasn't going to say anything. No, you're right. I should fill you in so you don't get the wrong idea. I'm actually relatively new here, you see. I got hired on the same year Emmy started going here. Before that, I worked with Emmy during her initial rehab following her accident. Hold on, what? We had to amputate her legs after a really nasty car wreck. It nearly killed her and succeeded. He shut up abruptly. I blink at receiving this unexpected piece of news. I mean, okay, dude, like, you're supposed to have a level of confidentiality that a professional should have. Like, you shouldn't be telling random people that, oh yeah, by the way, this this kid had like an accident and that's how her legs got cut off. That's ridiculous, man. Anyways. Well, that's not my place to say. Anyway, we've known each other for quite a while. So we have a slightly more familiar relationship than is strictly professional. Yeah, that's, yeah. You know, considering the last time I've, like, paid any attention to this game was, again, when I was not working, as in, like, you know, middle school. So, basically, I now realize just how terribly this nurse here, effed up. He seems embarrassed, like he's done something stupid. Yeah, that was pretty stupid, man. Why would you do that? Anyways. I guess he's really worried about that. I wave a hand to let him know it's not a big deal. Don't worry, sir. I promise I'm going to be discreet. I had been wondering about what caused Emmy to lose her legs, and that was one of the scenarios I thought of. There was only so many ways that could have happened, but actually hearing about the facts, it's still a little shocking. Well, thanks. You're a good kid, Hazao. I can see why Emmy became friends with you. She's quite indomitable, you know? What do you mean? You didn't see her learning to walk? You didn't see her learning to walk. She'd go for so much longer than the others in the hospital. She refused to quit. Normally it takes years to get to a point where you even think about running again. Emmy did it in all about a year. He almost seems proud of her. Like a father who watches his daughter win a competition or something. Well, she'd probably have done it faster if not for the fact that we wouldn't let her. Wouldn't let her? Why not? Because she'd go so long that her legs would start bleeding where they met her prosthetics. Jeez. It's a real concern. It's why she comes by every day after the runs. To say nothing of the risk of infections if her legs get cut up and her prosthetics are dirty. But enough of that. If we don't get you on your way soon, Emmy will think we're up to something. He says this, he gives a wink, and begins checking my heartbeat. The stethoscope is way too cold. He really should have heated it up or something before he used it. After a few moments, he leans back, satisfied. Well, you sound pretty good to me, Hazao. You didn't have any chest pains while you were running, did you? No, not really. I just had some trouble catching my breath, though. And my heart was racing by the end, too. The nurse frowns as I say this, but then shrugs. It's probably just because you're out of shape. But if you don't improve, then you should let me know, okay? Don't push yourself too much. And of course, if you have any chest pains, come to me immediately. Right? I put my shirt back on, and the nurse leans out of the doorway to call Emmy. What took you so long? Now I'm gonna be late. The nurse gives me a significant look. Okay. I was just seducing Hazao, that's all. Jesus Christ. Can you... What? Come on, what have I told you about seducing my friends? I'd expected Emmy to be shocked by this, but instead she seems merely annoyed, scolding the nurse as if he were a child stealing cookies. Meanwhile, I try hard not to blush at the nurse's innuendo. I'll try not to do it again, though I fear young Hazao may be lost to the female gender forever. Did I mention this game was made in 2012? Not freaking likely. I didn't mean to say that out loud, but now the nurse and Emmy regard me for a moment before bursting into laughter again. Told you he was funny, didn't I? Huh, I guess Emmy does talk to the nurse about a lot of stuff. Well, Hazao, you should probably get going. You still need to shower before class starts, don't you? Crap, he's got a point, and it looks like I've only got half an hour. Thanks for your time. I'll see you later, Emmy. I dash out of the room as the nurse begins to remove Emmy's prosthetics. As I head down the hallway, I can just barely hear his voice drifting after me. Emmy, you've got to be more careful. I make it back to my room and shower in record time. It occurs to me that I've already been up for 4 hours, and class hasn't even started yet. This is going to be a really, really long day. I hope I don't fall asleep in class. Yeah, I think it's time to save and then do another recording. Yeah, I'll just